You are now listening to the podcast for geeks and the stuff they love, where each week we'll talk about everything from anime to movies, games, and prop collecting with the people who create and love it. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Vince.
I'm James.
And this is your Geek Fix.
Last week, I did an old episode that I had actually recorded video-wise because we just couldn't get together last week. And then, and honestly, all sorts of things have been happening this weekend, and there's all sorts of things that I know that you guys have been doing and are doing. Literally, James right now is driving, and while he's not driving while he's doing this, his girlfriend's assisting him. But at the same time, I know there's a lot of things that we could catch up on, and then I also wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about yesterday, because yesterday was April Fool's Day, and I think I have a little bit of a techie thing about April Fool's Day to talk about. But at any rate, yeah, and you might notice, so James's video is off, and so you won't be able to see him in this episode because we didn't want to use up all of his data in recording this, because the way that the service we use works is it records it onto the device and then uploads it later on. And so this way he doesn't have to have recorded video on his phone for every episode. And then Vinz looks like he's like in an isolated. Go ahead and talk for a second. He's isolated in the ether.
Hello.
Yeah. There you go. It's just out in space. All this stuff is gone. It's just
It's all empty.
Yeah. So you've been talking about it on this podcast for a little while, though, that you were been working on for a while now. You're getting the attic, or it's not really an attic, but the upstairs all kind of fixed up again. And it's finally done. And so now you can move your stuff in. But today, it's just basically your computer, you, and your mic. And so it's sounding a little echoey for that reason. And so, yeah. Those are...
I said I just got off. We just got out of IKEA to buy a desk and all the other stuff. And I just set it up and started the podcast. Really.
Yeah. Did you get some meatballs while you were there, too?
No, there was a big line.
Was it really?
Yeah.
We don't have an IKEA where I live in this state. There in other states you can. That's of course the draw. So those meatballs are worth going there for.
No, they're like the 50-cent hot dogs are though.
Oh yeah, that's right. They have other. That's the main reason to travel there.
Yeah,
just for the meat. I've known people that in Europe have traveled to other countries just to go to IKEA as a trip to go to IKEA to get meatballs. I don't remember who that was, but
just the meatballs.
So they must have been really disappointed there.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. So you sent a picture to me, something you've been working on, Vince. What's the?
I sent a lot of pictures
about it. Well, you sent a lot of pictures, but the one that you just read, I mean, the thing you got, you've been sending pictures on it for a little bit, but it's in fact
just the thing that might have got me blackmailed.
Blacklisted. Blacklisted. It does look like something that starts with a B.
Yeah.
or like the unit to be able to send missiles somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a movie or a TV show prop that I got from a guy on Facebook. And it's basically a rugged Pelican case, and in it is a computer with a keyboard and joysticks and all the bells and whistles that make it look very dangerous.
Yeah. So what are you going to do with that? What are you going to make it?
I got it in the mail yesterday, so it was in traffic for a month now. And also customs, of course, had their questions. What this was? Guy didn't pack it in a box or anything, so it's just plain Jane military box with some NATO markings on it.
That's funny.
Yeah,
but that made it through. And toy, I sent Vinz
completely above the board.
Yeah, it cleared, but I tried to send you a bunch of toys, and those didn't make it to you. But this made it.
That's strange. But when I got it. In the episode, it's from a TV show from Amazon Prime called Hannah.
Oh,
and they wrapped it up apparently this year.
I watched that.
Yeah,
that's what it's from, for real. Like that's the act. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I got a picture of it that's in scene with. I have the actual screen verified prop in there.
Wow.
So the guy in UK basically bought a whole warehouse of props from a prop master apparently, because they were slated to be destroyed, and some guy just said, "Hey, if you give me money, you can have the stuff," which apparently is how it most often goes with props.
Yeah. I
So this
can't
guy
remember.
bought-
That's the show. Isn't she supposed to be like
robot?
she's
Yeah.
technically Thor's daughter or something, but she
Oh,
doesn't
is it?
know it. She's human, but I don't know.
I-
I can't remember now.
It's magical girl show, and the girl ends up being something special. Predestined to be XYZ.
Yeah.
But in the end, like a SWAT team comes in and tracks her, and those suitcases. That suitcase has been used in one of the scenes that shows like
Wow.
a radar display.
Yeah.
While they're tracking her. But it's
Wow.
all movie magic. So on the pictures, it looked like it was a solid thing.
Right.
When it came here, like the hot glue was dried up. There was no there's a button missing. It's a rotary button, and you would think they would just drill a hole and put a rotary encoder in there and everything. No, it's
Right.
just double-sided taped to the facade.
Yeah.
But all the hot glue dried up, and it's all a pretty big mess. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the hardware store next week and get some screws, get some stuff, and I'll fix it properly.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna put in a Raspberry Pi. And it's gonna run Amiga OS.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's like very retro, and it works with all the modern stuff. But I want to make it look like it could be used for Fallout or for Ghostbusters or something else. I want to be a versatile prop. And it's also very mobile. I mean, it has wheels, it has a handle. You could just pull the handle out, and you can roll it along.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
the screen works. So it's basically just a computer screen with a USB keyboard, and in it is just like a power management sort of wires and everything, and an LED driver that makes all the lights go on. To make it look right.
It's funny how poor. Chris was saying that when they went to scan the sonic screwdriver. Before they got, when they went to one of the studios to get it, they had a lot of the other Sonics there, as well as some other props from Doctor Who, and they were like close up. They turned out to be just like hot glued pieces of paper that were stuck to other things. That from far away they look fine, but up close they turned out to be not quite what you imagined. So they're just like throwing things together the last second to make it work.
I had that experience with the Stormtrooper armor. So I have a couple of helmets, and I have a Sandtrooper costume as well. That's been building for years. But I was always a bit disappointed in my paint job. And then I just saw the actual original Stormtrooper or Sandtrooper costumes, and they are not pencil perfect props at all. And they are not. We are used to like the stylized versions that we have now that are mass produced and all that kind of stuff, but they were wonky and glued together, screwed together, and basically the same way I made my helmet. So that's a relief.
Well, Chuck showed that some of them had tons of Bond. They call it Bondo here in the U.S. I don't know what they call it out there. It's like the stuff you use to fix the side of your car and sand it down. Like they had tons of Bondo on those helmets.
Car epoxy, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so up close it's all lumpy and things, but that's how they identified some of these objects, though. If they were perfect, it'd be harder to tell if it was the real screen-matched thing, as, they look for those little imperfections that you can quickly get inside the film or whatever. Oh, there you go. Now it's just the one. Yeah. But, anyway.
It's a fun thing. This is my actual first movie prop or film prop that I ever had,
screen used.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's very cool. Awesome. What about you, James? What else you got going on? Yeah, we were talking about some things. We're going to be having a travel episode that's coming up next week. But at the same time, what are some things that are going on with you?
So basically, news-wise, I've been to the in-laws, which is what I'm driving back from now, which is why you guys can probably hear weird stuff in the background. It's just because I'm currently driving.
Yeah.
We specifically this weekend went to the theater. We went to watch a comedy. a very, very, very Spanish comedy, which had extremely Castilla-La Mancha, so the part of Spain that we're in, centric comedy. Yesterday we went to a Comic-Con, a very small Comic-Con, like nothing like America size or even general Spain size. Is relatively medium, which was good. We came back with a few prints, which I can send you pictures of. I participated in a gym competition a little while ago, which kept me busy trying to, in air quotes, train for it. It's cool.
Oh,
That didn't work.
He'll be back.
A few moments later.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, this weekend has been like that for me overall. I was gonna say one of the first things that I've had happen in relation to April Fool's Day, is that especially electronics wise, is first off, I made this video that's technically, you can see it is there, ready to go live this upcoming Thursday at 5, or if you're watching this video actually on Wednesday, so then it would be tomorrow at 5. But
the scam one.
Yeah, the scam one. So
Yeah.
so the scam, one of the scams, I should say, that was involved has Elon Musk's stream that was tied in with the there he is, with Tesla, and
The
and
LTT
so
hack.
yeah, and ironically, when I went to post it, because I told everyone, oh, it'll be posted tomorrow. Ironically, when I went to post it, luckily, actually, I should say, when you go to upload it, in case you haven't done this before, when you go to upload videos now on YouTube, it will say that it wants to check things for copyright. And it's really best to give it time. It'll tell you, don't publish this right away. Wait until it's done processing. So it looks ahead in advance. That way it can warn you if there's a chance that you're going to get some kind of copyright claim. And that's what happened in this case. But what it also does is that it messages, or it looks for people that already have that it is their copyrighted material. And then it kind of automatically puts a claim on it. So it'll say, well, this group is already claiming this. So if you want to go ahead and keep this published, then they get to keep anything that you do monetized wise. And they could also turn it into a full claim, which would be a strike on your channel. So I took it down and I edited it so it would be able to be published this time. But ironically, it does give you the link. It shows you the link of where and who is has this claim. And in the past, you might have noticed we had one actually on this podcast before having to do with Doctor Who. The BBC will get you every time. And so I had a short, teeny tiny clip of Doctor Who, and after a couple of weeks, the BBC claimed it. And so, I mean, that sort of thing happens. But in this case, it wasn't Elon Musk or Tesla or anybody that actually owns that video. It's the actual scam people who have replaced. So there's a few sites out there, there's a few channels that are still taken over by this thing that they haven't been able to flip it back yet. And so it was referring to those poor channels that the people don't even have control over right now. There's a copyright claim coming from them, basically. So I mean, how weird is that? So I edited it. I tried to fix it and things. So that was kind of the first thing. And then the second thing that happened was I decided, well, at least I'll get out the fan home video that usually comes out today, or for some people who are listening yesterday, or for some people who are watching this on Wednesday, a few days ago,
or last week, or a year ago,
or last week, or whenever it is that you actually refer to this. But I do it with 3 cameras. I do it with this camera I always do front facing. I do a second camera that is usually pointed downward above, the objects. And then I use my phone for doing close-ups. And the close-ups, I've gotten to really rely on those close-ups, and I kind of film planning with those close-ups. And I transferred all the film off of that phone, put it onto my computer, And then because of the way the phones are now, I deleted, because I don't have separate storage on it. I had to delete, what I did, so that then I have space to be able to do more things. And when I went into edit yesterday, I realized that all of the close-up data had never transferred, and so I don't have it anywhere. So I can't edit that video in the way it's going to be all like far away, or my face, just my face. It's not going to make any sense. So I got discouraged. I quit that. So I mean, it was a bad April Fool's for me in that way. But on the flip side, did you do anything for April Fool's, Vince? Do you play any jokes? Do you guys fully celebrate it out there in the Netherlands?
Some do. My life has been a joke for the past few months, so I don't need another day to remind me of that.
You don't need you don't need a dedicated day for it.
No, just kidding. I saw James pop up saying that he might be able to connect later, but not in this episode, I guess.
That's okay. That's all right.
But so for the viewers and listeners out there, James is still driving.
We might do a little tweak later on to make that work, but
yeah. So we actually went on date night, my wife and I, and we dropped our kid off at the grandma. And it was pretty cool. Well, we went to see Avatar 2.
Did you really?
Yeah.
And many hours later. Okay, here's my question for you.
Yeah.
Did you fall asleep?
No.
You didn't fall asleep? That's impressive.
Well, the cool thing is, though, there are 3 reasons for that. First, we went pretty early. Secondly, there were 2 kids sitting next to me playing video games while watching the movie on their phone. Thirdly, it was a special cinema that opened up nearby that has food delivery.
Oh yeah.
So the screen is up high, and people you can just get an app and say, I want to have cheese sticks or whatever, and they just drop it off at your seat. But I got at our company, we have like this budget that you have for relaxation and wellness. And I managed to get a free tickets to the movies out of that.
Oh wow!
for the whole year.
That's cool.
It's 3 movies a month or something, or 2 movies a month, which I still haven't gotten to yet. So you build up credits. So we thought, well, we might as well go there and use our credits, which was a good idea. It was a really fun movie. Then afterwards, we went to a Korean barbecue place where we, during the pandemic, we basically bought from them. And this, some people might say it's cultural approximation or whatever, or appropriation. But
I guess it depends on who owns it and how they're using it. Like,
no, for us, I mean, this may sound really stupid, but I really like to dive deep into cultures and all that kind of stuff. And I'm a big Kim's Convenience fan, and also, having the prospect of Paul maybe being on the podcast or having a chat with him one day. I thought, well, I could speak to the guy, but I only know about Kim's Convenience, so I might as well try Korean food for a change. So that's what we did. Basically inspired by Kim's Convenience, is try out the stuff that they mention a lot, like tteokbokki and gimbap and all that kind of
stuff.
Correct me if I pronounce it wrong. But we ordered that during the pandemic, and it was from a restaurant in near the cinema. So we thought, well, we have date night. We're going to go to this restaurant. It's going to be fun. It's going to be Korean barbecue, and we're going to get all the stuff fresh. When we got there, it was like just a tiny post stamp of a shop with like three seats.
Is this one of those where it's mostly just for picking things up? It's not really for sitting down too much. I got you.
And there were no pictures of the restaurant, so we were like, okay, I might as well just be. They don't like pictures or whatever, but no, it was like 4 tables, and we had to scoot the barbecue over to someone else's table to make room for stuff. It was really
share a table with somebody else.
But it was a bit inconvenient. But it was good food. So we had lots of fun.
Do you ever watch? Have you ever watched any other like South Korean?
My brother
shows?
is really into it. He's really into like the drama, like the soap opera or soap stuff, like the and then the young adult.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. It's kind of, honestly, I think that they make movies and TV better than anyone right at the moment.
Okay.
There's a lot of shows I think that people watch in the U.S. that they think that are U.S. TV shows, and they're really remakes of a lot of Korean shows.
Okay, cool.
But on Netflix, Netflix has tons of them. They have all the best ones and things like that, but it's hard to just notice them. But if you watch 2 or 3 shows, and because I watch so many of these shows, then that's like mostly what it recommends are all these shows that are just really good shows. There's a lot. There's 3 of my favorite shows. For some reason, the main character is autistic. That's like a common theme.
Oh, it's that Wu, Detective Wu, or something like that.
Oh yeah. Attorney Wu is one of them.
Yeah.
And then there's also one that's called something moving heaven or something like that. Which is basically the idea is that the father and son, they're the ones that you hire to come in and move all the stuff out when somebody dies.
Okay.
And they come in and they clean it up and things like that. And the father died, not to give away too much. So this happens in the first episode. The father dies. Yeah. And the father's brother, who just got out of prison, is supposed to take care of him. And the kid is autistic, but because of his autism, he's learning. Basically, he learns about people and about things, and is able to pick up on certain things through this process. And it's a lot about they basically investigate and figure out who the person was and what they wanted, and then help them fulfill what they wanted when they were alive, kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
And so that was really good too. Attorney Wu is a really good one. That was pretty funny. Which is an attorney that has autism, and they're kind of more of a severe autism, actually.
But is it like a theme in Korean TV shows now?
No,
I think
they're just aware of it, and I think they also see. It is a good premise. It's that always the alien premise of, I don't. What would it look like to somebody that wasn't a part of our culture, our world?
Yeah, fish out of water kind of
to
stuff.
interact with it, and and they do have a bunch of shows too that have like Americans or other people and how they have to adjust. But but yeah, this is pretty good. But if you like anime, a lot of their live shows are kind of like, they fit very well with like the anime world of things. A lot of their movies are just really high end production. They have some of the best zombie movies and shows that you could possibly see. A lot of the ones I like and stuff. But anyway, yeah. So
some of them are on the back. Like this is one. I'm not sure if it's a Korean film, but it's like they have to, like 100 people have to compete physically against each other. I'm not sure even if it's
that's a
movie.
Japanese show.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And they horribly dub it afterwards.
Oh wow.
Have you seen the dubbed version of that show, or is it?
I just saw the trailer. I just saw it pop by, and I thought, okay, this looks interesting.
So they dubbed it in English.
Oh, okay.
Which this is a live. This is a live. Like a kind of like a what do you call those? Sort of a
battle royale things.
A game, and somewhere between a game show and one of those like live action shows where you don't know what's going to happen from episode to episode. They get a group of people, they get together. Yeah. But because they go back and they dub it, it sounds unauthentic and cheesy. Yeah. But if you watch it in the original version, they have them do basically like they have to. It's a lot of strong people is what the whole thing is, and so they have to like they're hanging and they have to hold on to something, or else they're going to drop down into the stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was like battle royale kind of stuff, or like Squid
or Fear
Game.
Factor back in the day, that sort of thing. Takeshi's Castle, it's kind of that sort of stuff.
Thought it was I thought it was like Squid Game, like those people would die eventually.
Yeah, that would make it more interesting, probably. But I can't even remember what they were competing for. I don't remember if it's just money or if it's money, for something else. Yeah, but it's guys against girls too. So they kind of I don't know.
But you might notice, for me, the Korean culture is very, very unknown. I know something about Chinese culture, and I know something about Japanese culture, and to me, it's very unknown. So I thought, the best way to appropriate or come into contact with the culture is also by its food, of course. So I thought, we go for Korean, which is really good.
Yeah.
we also found out that the stuff that they sell is pretty easy to make at home as well. Yeah, but
you just need primary
Sticky.
ingredient. If you've got some cabbage and you've got some, you got the right seasonings and
like
you got
the
some
secret
meat,
stuff
you're
for
good
me
to go.
To make cheap noodles sound taste expensive is that gochujang, like the chili paste. I bought a box of it, like a little small box, and it's almost empty now. I just put it in my cheap noodles in the soup, and it makes it sound, makes it taste really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to really get into the Asian stuff, get some fish sauce. Seems like when I was working, it was both the Lao, the Hmong, the Cambodians that I was around, like all of them used to use a lot of fish sauce and like
the
everything.
squid
Like
brand
they'd add
fish sauce.
everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's good. It sounds horrible, but when you add it to other things, it's pretty good.
It
or
smells
or raw
horrible on
egg
its own
and
as
stuff.
well.
Yeah, it'll ruin your house.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the truth. I don't know if James is coming back for this one, but at the same time,
Yeah.
I thought I'd tell you. So I came up with the upside to this to this April Fool's was I found one of the I do like playing some tricks, but I do like things that are particularly techie.
Okay.
And so I was at the dollar store here in the U.S. Dollar Tree, which now is not just dollar items, but 5 and below kind of thing. But they had the lights that you put on your wheels of your car. You screw them in to the cap, for your tire, and then when they move, they light up. And so for just a couple bucks, they had these packages, and so I bought a whole bunch of them.
You pimped
And
out your car.
I snuck them onto my wife's car. So she's driving around. It's true. Her rims are all lit up and stuff. And I was like, I'll just wait and see, like, if she figures out. But then I figured out, well, I could go to my work and I'll switch out a bunch of people at my works, their caps and stuff too with these things, and then just wait and see what happens. Because one of two things I figure is going to happen. Either one, they're going to be driving along and their family's going to be like, wow, wait, I didn't know that your car had rims lit up, or why do you have light up rims? And I'll be like, they aren't, or maybe they always were and I just didn't know it because you can't see it from the inside of the car. or slowly over time, my city will just have nothing but cars with rims that are lit up because I'll just keep buying these cheap lights and putting them onto people's cars. It's like the easiest trick to pull on somebody because as long as they don't catch you, like it doesn't look like you're draining their tires. Yeah.
It's a victimless crime, so to say.
That's this, yeah, right? I'll keep track of the caps just in case they really want the caps back. The other thing that we did, we went to, we talked about the Flipper Zero not too long ago. My son has the Flipper, which allows you to, it's kind of like the hacker's toolkit. It's all on one device. And so we went to Walgreens this last week, which is kind of like CVS in some places, it's one of those pharmacy/store places.
We don't have those.
He said, I'm going to do something. Didn't tell me what it was, but he said, I'm going to do something. And over the intercom, this lady keeps on announcing, she's like, service in the baby aisle, customer service to the baby aisle. And then later on, she says it again, customer service to the baby aisle. It's a pre-recorded thing. And it was him. He's pushing, you get to pick, they have like 6 different things that you can announce. And you just push the button and it tells their system wirelessly to play this message. We got up to the front and I'm like, I apologize. That was us basically. But at the same time, they're like, we don't even have a baby aisle anymore. So, they didn't seem too put out by it, but I thought that was pretty hilarious. But at the same time,
I pulled a stunt like that ages ago. When Bluetooth was still new.
What'd you do?
Well, we had the biggest plasma screen in the world in Eindhoven in an electronics store, and it had a small blue light that was blinking on that screen. And since Bluetooth was really new, and since new TVs come, with Bluetooth pairing enabled, I managed to use my old Motorola Razr flip phone, to connect to that TV and upload photos to it. And I didn't know that at
really?
first. Yeah. So first I accidentally put a picture of me and my then girlfriend on that screen. I was like, oh, that's my face. I have to remove it. So I did.
Oh, yeah.
And then I went to the adult section.
Oh, no.
And I put 2 giant female lady parts. And then this guy came out of a door with a manual with a red face sitting next to these giant just going through the manual, looking at the
Trying to figure out how to turn that off.
yeah. So I saw him, so I went to the cell phone area and I kept making pictures of the store, and every time I uploaded a new picture he was like looking around like, where's the guy,
Right.
And that was during, like, I was still in college back then, and then we had like an off hour in between classes, so we go to the city to do some shopping and some stuff. So we only had an hour, so I just left after that.
That's funny. Do you still have your razor? Just out of curiosity, because that's actually worth money now.
It actually broke in half once.
Oh, did it? Oh.
Yeah. So I had it on my nightstand, and the alarm went off, and I just tried to grab it in the dark. And it fell off my stand and it just fell on the hinge and it just broke in 2. But those were cool phones.
Yeah, the people are trying to still get those. Like they will go online and try and buy them.
But
they're not cheap.
They don't work
either
anymore, though.
No, I don't know if they care.
No.
It's one of those. It's pop culture, I guess. I don't know.
I bought one of the Matrix phones, like the banana phone that they have with the sliding, a while back. Because I thought it would be cool to have. I've been looking into the phones from Better Call Saul as well, but they're all American exclusive, so I couldn't get those. But
yeah. That's the thing. Even for that show, they couldn't find enough of those phones, so they had to create. They did plastic. He said just a bunch of plastic stuff so they didn't actually put actual phones inside of some of the packaging, and then the actual phones they were using, they didn't have to operate, so they're just fakes.
Dummies, yeah.
But
I actually had a dummy phone
stuff.
A while back, also during the time I was doing the big screen stunt. And the cool thing, it was at a flea market, some guy sold dummy phones, and they were pretty pretty elaborate. So I always had one in my pocket somewhere. So I would just first time I tried it out at my girlfriend's house, and I was just like, I've had enough, and I just threw the phone through the room. I feel like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And 3 dummy phones in my bag. And I was going Hulk on it. And people like, the guy's insane. And I'm like, no, it's just a fake phone. So,
I like April Fool's is a good holiday. It gives you the excuse to do things that you wouldn't normally probably socially be able to do. But I'm curious to hear what people out there. This would have been a good theme for when we do our live stream version of this show. But at the same time, I'm really curious what some of you have done out there in relation to
pranking,
to this holiday in the past. I will say too, I want to thank a few of our viewers who are consistently writing comments for us, like Sleelands. I can't say it, but you know who you are. Sleelands, Classic Glue, and of course Bongo Cat. If you've enjoyed this podcast and want more, stay tuned for that. But also check out our channel, join the community on YouTube that goes by the same name, your Geek Fix. Be sure to check out Vinz on Twitter at massivedmg_ and on his YouTube channel, massivedmg. Check out James at Mr. Malto4 on Instagram and the Replica Prop Forum. We also want to hear from you, so be sure to send your questions, stories, and other projects to yourgeekfix@gmail.com. In the meantime, this has been your Geek Fix.